Hello, guys, and welcome to the Christmas Universe Christmas special. As we're here to review the long-awaited finale. And Stacey, my first thoughts on this finale that we've been waiting, that we've always been talked about leading up to its broadcast, and it's also, as Larry Lamb said, it's a very emotional roller coaster. The emotion of this episode is exactly as you would basically expect it to be. It's everything you could probably expect and more with this episode, and they weren't lying when they said that it was going to be a roller coaster, and it certainly was a roller coaster. It's truly incredible. This broadcast has been nothing short of a it's incredible. It really is like one of these. But yes, this finale of Gavin and Stacey is truly incredible. As Larry Lamb said, it was full of emotional moments and moments that just you really felt that this was it. It was, like I said, it was honestly one of the. I honestly believe that Gavin and Stacey got the most viewers tonight. And I mean, I don't want to feel bad about Wallace and Gromit, because sure, Wallace and Gromit, I'm pretty sure they got some views, but this episode I think is going to end up getting most views. I think this episode is going to top the ratings for Christmas Day, as you will see in the coming days, because there's only one reason for it, because I mean, it's an ending, and usually when a show is about to end, it usually gets its highest viewing figures because it's the finale and everybody's been waiting to find out what's going to happen. A lot of people have even asked Ruth Jones and James Corden about, like, oh, when's the next one going to be? And who would ever thought that, here we are, we're about to talk about this last episode. I don't think, to be fair, it feels surreal thinking that this is it. I mean, there was always that part of me that was like, it kind of, I mean, sure, I mean, some people, there's going to be some people who will be like, oh, the show can last forever, but, you know what it's like with comedies from a few years ago. Some of them usually decide to move on, and this is one of those instances here with a comedy that's deciding to move on after being in the scene for 20 years, and it has every right to, and I'm not gonna judge for that. So let's get into the review before we waste any time here. So this episode, of course, obviously starts with the classic Stacey on the phone with Gavin. Always been a classic beginning to Gavin and Stacey. It continues here, this finale, and I think the first thing that really took me by surprise was the fact that they talked about a wedding. And I think if you were a Gavin and Stacey fan, you would jump to joy because you'd be like, oh my God, it's finally going to be Smithy and Nessa's wedding. And then we find out that it's not Smithy and Nessa, it's actually Smithy and Sonia. Yeah, that Sonia girl Smithy has convinced Sonia to engage with him. And and obviously, he was very pleased about it, but not everybody else was very pleased about it, as it became very apparent that Pam and Mick have been talking about the whole marriage, and even Pam thinks that Smithy's making a mistake, and then Gavin and Stacey has been chatting with Gavin about, look, I think Smithy's making a mistake here. So you can tell that they were all chatting, and also most of them, and even Rudy, Smithy's sister, who also returned in this episode, even mentioned about, she kept avoiding her for 5 years. So right there, when you have somebody who is trying to reject everybody that Smithy loves, I think it was apparent from that minute on, we knew that this was bad news. And even Smithy, I'm surprised he didn't notice it in the first minute. I mean, he obviously tried to pretend it was love when really it wasn't love. It was basically just a pretend love, and there was nothing there really. He was just doing it because Gavin's married with Stacey and everything, and I think he thought that through, and it became apparent throughout the episode that a lot of people want in the family wanted Nessa and Smithy to get together, and they secretly wanted it to happen, so they probably felt relieved that it finally happened. we'll get to that bit. But yeah, so most of the story, most of this episode, we kind of get that. I think a lot of people were sensing dread about like, oh, did Smithy make the right choice? Sort of conversations behind Smithy's back was obviously there, even though they didn't really talk to him about it at first. That was what they were thinking deep down. But obviously, at the same time, they were planning their stag do, of course, because Smithy was planning to do his, he was doing his stag do. He was getting ready to, do his bit for, planning to do his stag for, before he gets married. And then Sonia, and then obviously the girls, Stacey, Nessa, and, Pam, they would go to Sonia's gig, and she was doing stuff with her friends, but Stacey was trying to do the whole hot policeman thing that she had for her wedding, and obviously Sonia wasn't having that. So yeah, it was a clear right there that Sonia was bad news, and yeah, and to be fair, I'm surprised they never showed this side of Sonia during previous episode, because I'm quite surprised. Well, to be fair, we saw a little bit of it in the previous episode where she was like, "Oh, they're not exactly your family." Where she was like, "Oh, they're not exactly your family," to Smithy. So you kind of knew that there was something there. There was like this weird dilemma where she was trying to convince Smithy that, oh, they're not family and everything, and trying to make excuses for wanting to hang out with them, when really it was all just for her to try to get Smithy away from the family, and that was what Sonia wanted. Obviously, Smithy, we all know Smithy wasn't going to do that. We knew Smithy was going to be smart. He wasn't going to leave them hanging. He's Smithy. Of course, he's not going to leave them hanging. Yeah, I'm honestly kind of glad that he made the right choice. Honestly, for Smithy, I'm really glad that he made the decision, and he kind of figured it out that, hey, Sonia doesn't really love him. I'm glad that he kind of figured that out towards the end. It took most of the episode to get there, but he finally figured that out, and he kind of understood it. But yeah, so Sonia was a bit of a moody during her stag do, and then Smithy was trying to enjoy himself until Bryn tried to do stuff that young people do, but because they were getting older, they didn't want to do the stuff they used to do, so it just didn't really work out, the stag in the end. Even though they had a few drinks the night before, the night before they had a few drinks and enjoyed themselves, and then obviously Smithy missed the fitting for his suit and everything, because he had a few shots the night before when he came up to see Pam and everything, and even Bryn and everyone came up. So that was a funny moment, seeing them enjoy themselves. And also we have Dawn and Pete, who when we first saw them, we were told that Pete was moving on from Dawn, that, Pete sees somebody else, and then Dawn was kind of watching him, and even though Pete didn't want anything to do with her, and then minutes later, they're having some business in the bedroom. Yeah, so so it turns out that separation didn't really last long, did it? Because they were back together anyway. Pete and Dawn, really? Typical Pete and Dawn. That's all I'm going to say to that, because I don't really need too much information about that in there. It's just Pete and Dawn business. That's how I'm going to describe it. It was funny though, and obviously we had that moment when Smithy was waking up from the hangover and saying, "Oh, someone break my arm," and then he was trying to break his arm to make an excuse for why he didn't go to the fitting of his suit, which was kind of funny. And then Sonia was ringing Gavin because Sonia wanted a certain way, and this is the thing. I think a lot of people would have hated Sonia, the fact that she was being that way, with the people that Smithy loves, and then she was complaining about Stacey's hair not being the right way, so you kind of knew that was trying to make it her way rather than making everything about her, when really it was supposed to be about both of them. And she didn't really do this for Smithy. She was kind of doing it just to make herself popular, and it just And then we also had a bit of a revolution with so Gwen was very moody to begin with, and we saw a bit of a very angry, a little bit of a slightly angrier side of where she was getting moody with, until we found out that she was actually hiding a bloke, and it turned out to be Dave Coach's account. I was doing a bit of an Anton Deck meme there, but yeah, Dave Coaches came back, and we find out he is with Gwen. Who would ever thought that would happen? Gwen meeting up. Oh yeah, imagine Gwen Stacey. Who would ever thought that would happen? That's a surprise right there. Gwen with Stacey. That's a joy. That's a joy indeed. So yeah, so Gwen's with Stacey now. There's your moment right there. So now we know Gwen's now finally in a relationship with Dave Coaches, who was Nessa's ex at one time, and obviously you knew this wasn't gonna sit well with Bren, considering they tried to, well, they got very close to revealing the fishing trip, but they kind of played down the fishing trip, and I was really hoping they were going to reveal it, but they're not going to obviously reveal the fishing trip. It was too far-fetched. It was like, yeah, you want to know about the fishing trip? Yeah, we're not going to tell you. It's the finale, but we don't really care. We're not going to tell you. So, yeah, a bit of a tease there that they were going to try and say something, and then they just like, nah, we're not talking about it. So, yeah. No reveal for fishing trip, unfortunately. We tried. Nevertheless, so we had that moment with the whole fishing trip, and then we also had, and also let's not forget, we saw all of Smithy and Gavin's friends back. You know, Chinese Alan and all the gang boys are back. So good to see their faces. They're getting way older now. They were much younger when we last saw them, and now they look even more older than they did the last time we met them. But it's so cool to see them again. Gavin and Stacey's mates reuniting for Smithy's stag do, which is really, really great to see them again. And then we also got to see Smithy's mother as well, who also made a return for this finale. So we kind of, to be fair, I was kind of suspecting that Smithy's family, like, sister and mom, were going to get involved in this episode. And luckily, lo and behold, they were there. We got Jason back. So yeah, obviously Jason came by. Yeah, really, it was and it was from that moment after Smithy, you kind of said, "Oh, I don't think you love me, Sonia." He finally realized that Nessa does love him, and he finally decided to go chasing with Nessa. And this is the moment where we finally got to the moment that we've been waiting to see. Smithy finally accepting Nessa as what Nessa wanted, to have Smithy marry her, and she got her wish. Smithy finally married Nessa, and lo and behold, that completes the family tree. I guess you could say the family portrait, which is what what Nessa wanted. In the last 5 years, she wanted that to happen, and that was the final moments of the episode. Finally, getting the Smithy and Nessa leading to that photo of the family, now completing the family, which is such a touching way to end the episode with a photo. And I think it was a very touching thing to have that as the last image. Gavin and Stacey for the finale. I thought that was a really touching way to end the show with that photo, and then we also get to see a little bit of a celebration of Smithy, and that was really nice to see that they were having a fun time celebrating the marriage of Neil and Smithy and Nessa. Neil, they're still calling him Neil the baby, even though he's basically should be just called Neil. Being happy that his mum and dad are finally married and everything, and it's just good to see that they're all coming together. Completes 20 years of this journey, which is insane. It's been 20 years, but here we are. We finally reached the end. Incredible. It really has been an incredible finale for Gavin and Stacey. Really incredible 20 years. And it's also kind of sad for me because there isn't really that many comedies from the previous years going to have new episodes now. I mean, the only one that will have new episodes out is not going, maybe likely to have another Christmas special, is not going out. and then there's nothing really else after that, really, because I mean, it's all going to be all the stuff that I loved are mostly going to be repeats going forward, and then it's just a matter of me trying to find. But it can be really tough to find something to fill that void, really. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to begin filling that void, to be honest. I mean, it's. I didn't even think we were going to reach the finale this year, but here we are. It's insane. It really is. It's really insane. You know, after this year, after 2024 is wrapped, we can't rely on Gavin and Stacey anymore, which is it feels weird saying that right now, and it just yeah. I guess I could rely on Here We Go, which is Alison Steadyman's new comedy. Even though not many people like it, I mean, I've watched a few episodes of it. I thought it was kind of funny in some areas. I know not many people look at it that way, but I think it's kind of funny for what it is. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, continuing watching that, considering I haven't like watched the whole series yet, and also they're going to have a new series in the new year, so it gives me more reasons to maybe catch up, watch that going forward, comedy wise. But it really is like it's going to be really tough to find a void. And well, I mean, to be fair, Dawn French is going to be releasing a new comedy next year, so maybe if that catches on, maybe I'll tune into that. I mean, we'll see how that goes, because I mean, it's going to be its first year in service, so we'll see if Dawn French's new comedy is going to be able to take off this, like Vicar of Dibley, etc. I mean, it's not going to be like Vicar of Dibley, but if it could have a success similar to Vicar of Dibley, or maybe close to Gavin and Stacey, that would be nice. We'll see if it does well. I mean, it's really hard to say if it is going to do well or not, but we'll find out. Yeah, really, like I said, it's just to fill where Gavin and Stacey has left. I like to believe there's hope to finding something that will fill that void in 2025 and beyond. I just want to hear from everybody else in the comment section below. What do you make of Gavin and Stacey the finale, and particularly if you're a Gavin and Stacey fan, did you love the finale? Were you emotional about this story? Watching Gavin and Stacey tonight, considering the fact I did in fact go to Barry Island briefly last summer, it has made me want to do more visits to Barry Island after seeing this episode. There has been that sort of like fresh off my mind, sort of like I wouldn't mind doing regular visits to get Barry Island going forward, especially considering how nice of a place it looks. I mean, especially being there, I'm sure it was a bit packed because it was the summer, because obviously you have a series like Gavin and Stacey, you're going to make it a tourist attraction, so of course summer holidays it is going to be a tourist attraction. But my gosh, Barry Island was a really nice treat to go there for a bit and enjoy Barry Island. And I just hope, like I said, I hope we'll get to enjoy Barry. Like I said, hopefully we'll get to enjoy and maybe more visits to Barry Island down the road. Hopefully, and maybe do a vlog there as well. That would be kind of nice to do a proper vlog of me going to Barry Island. That would be amazing to have that, because like I said, the memory of Gavin and Stacey will live on Barry Island for years to come. It's just a shame that we're not going to see it filmed there anymore, but at least the memory will still live on, and people can still, people like myself who are fans of Gavin and Stacey can still go there, remember, have those memories of when we saw those events, saw moments in the show that took place on that island, being fascinated by it, the whole Gavin and Stacey scenes that took place there, and seeing their posters all over the island, being fascinated by it all. It is honestly like a very beautiful place, and I truly, and I do recommend for anybody who is thinking about going to the UK, and if you want to see Barry Island, go and visit. Trust me, it's a very lovely location. Sure, in the summer it'll be packed because people, like I said, tourist attractions and everything. But if you go at times when it's not as busy, like when they're at school and that, I think it's kind of peaceful. I mean, I haven't tried it myself, but there has been times where I feel like wanting to try it when there isn't any tourists there, and when it's not the summer, and see what it's like, because I bet you it'd be really nice and cozy there. Yeah, it really is like a special place, and I'm glad. And it kind of makes me feel glad that Ruth Jones and James Corden chose it as the location of Gavin and Stacey, because it's, like I said, the memories are going to live on. Of all the scenes they filmed there, they're not going to forget like what Gavin and Stacey have achieved there over the last 20 years. It's just, it really will stand the test of time. Gavin and Stacey will stand the last test of time, and people are going to rediscover, and I'm sure there'll be more people rediscovering it as it keeps being repeated. And and sure, there'll be lots of new people who will watch it for the first time now that the show's over and be like, or maybe have watched the finale and be like, hey, I want to catch up on this. And this will be like, and because I guarantee you, there's going to be people out there who have probably not seen Gavin and Stacey before and watched the finale and be like, I love this. I want to see the rest of the stuff they've done. That's why I'm going to put a link in the description for those who want to see the Gavin and Stacey box set on iPlayer. Go and watch them. Seriously, go and watch the series and the specials. You'll love it. Trust me. There's a lot of good quality content there. Smithy's great. Gavin's great. Stacey's great. Every single one of them. They literally are like top notch. Literally, they are. They've done a lot of funny moments over the years, and I mean, I have to give props to, James Corden and Ruth Jones for creating these characters that will not only be remembered, but will live on and will always hold on to them, even when they're not filming with those characters. It's just, yeah, and whatever James Corden, Ruth Jones does following this, I'll be, sure, I'll be there to see what they do next. Whether they decide to do comedy again with a new set of characters, I'll be interested to see what they do with it. Even though, obviously we have to accept it's not going to be like Gavin and Stacey, but at least with the success of Gavin and Stacey, I like to believe that whatever characters they make now, they are likely to touch gold. And I'm sure that, and yeah, sure, it might be a little tricky because they're going to have to do things a little differently now, but I'm sure they're going to find a way to make those characters a success. Whatever characters they make next, whether they work together again, hopefully they'll do some magical things. And if they don't, and they do like other things rather than comedy, and they just go on to do YouTube stuff or whatever they want to do, hopefully it goes well. Honestly, I mean, I hope whatever they do, I'll definitely check their stuff out and see what they get up to over the next year, because I like to be hopeful they're going to have some new things. Whatever they do. Well, to be fair, James Corden does a podcast. I know he does a podcast, so I might tune into his podcast because he's been doing a lot of interviews with celebrities in the last few months. So maybe check out some of the podcasts he's going to be doing. And obviously he's going to be doing podcasts next year. So he's going to be chatting with loads of celebrities. So I'll definitely try to find the time to listen to those next year. And then, yeah, really, that's basically it. There isn't really much else to cover for today, really. There's not really much else to say, except for leave me your thoughts in the comment section. There'll be links to pre-order the Gavin and Stacey, the new complete collection that's coming next year, along with the finale DVD and Blu-ray. If you want to pre-order the DVD and Blu-ray ahead of its release in January, there'll be links to the box set on iPlayer. Definitely go and revisit them. Revisit Gavin and Stacey if you've watched it for the first time and you want to see all the episodes. Go and do it. You won't be disappointed. And then, yeah, it's just sad. Honestly, it just feels like emotional to think that we're not gonna have a Christmas Day like this again, where Gavin and Stacey wows us on the big day. There isn't going to be another one of those ever again, which is, yeah. I mean, if there is, it's just going to be a repeat. It's not going to be like a brand new episode, which kind of feels sad to think about that. That, we're not going to have a new episode to look forward to on the big day anymore. Um, it's just going to be just in the form of a repeat. It's basically just going to be a classic show that will be repeated for the next few Christmases, and then something else will take its reins, or whatever show ends up being on, well, whatever comedy ends up being new for Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. They've got a lot of shoes to fill. That's all I'm going to say on them. Whatever comedy decides to follow in the footsteps of Gavin and Stacey, good luck to you. Honestly, I know it's not going to be easy, but I like to believe that you'll try. You'll try to do something great with it. Try to do something great. Try to create a great comedy that will catch on to now that Gavin and Stacey's done its bit, done its part. Um, so yeah, that's all there is really is for me to say about Gavin and Stacey. I'm really happy about the outcome. I'm really happy about how they handled the finale. I think it was a really amazing finale. It's just sad that that's it. That's all Gavin and Stacey now. Except for the documentary, which that's the one last piece of the puzzle, and then when that's shown, that's it. No more new Gavin and Stacey to look forward to on the telly. It's just going to be them repeating Gavin and Stacey like they did with Ghosts this year. It's just crazy. Honestly, it's crazy to me that, you know, no more new Gavin and Stacey episodes to look forward to after this year. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and but whatever, and however you enjoy the rest of your Christmas Day or Boxing Day, as the time's flying by. I hope you have an amazing Boxing Day, or you've enjoyed your Christmas Day, and I'll be looking forward to bringing you the Boxing Day special later on in well, tomorrow night, with my thoughts on the Outnumbered Christmas special 2024. I cannot wait to do my review of that. So I'll see you tomorrow night for the Boxing Day special. Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you, James Corden, for amazing Gavin and Stacey finale. Thank you so much, James Corden, and hopefully one day we get to meet in person so I can have an autograph and stuff. Thank you.